This is Bumper to Bumper, the car show. Drive in anxious and cruise out confident. With the best automotive information for your vehicle. And now your hosts, Matt Allen and Dave Riccio.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Today, Matt Allen has decided to be in automotive training, so he's not with us, but don't worry, I brought somebody along to help you with your car. Bumper to Bumper Radio, we're here to help you, the motoring public, have a better overall car experience. So if you got car questions, we encourage you to give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. You can also text your questions to 411-923. Today on the Bumper to Bumper Roadmap, we're going to do some fact or fiction, of course, open phones and text, and air condition. But let me introduce you to John. John Riggle is with me. He's a lead diagnostician at Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. Good to have you, John.
Morning, Dave.
It's good to have you here in case anyone asks me a question I can't answer.
There you go.
I can point to you.
Yeah.
So it's always good to have you on the show. It's fun to do. And, yesterday I was driving home from work, and I'm driving down McClintock, and I noticed my air conditioning's kind of cool. Then it's not so cool. Then it's kind of cool again, and then not so cool. And I think, I wonder what we should talk about tomorrow.
Yeah, how about that, huh?
It only made sense to talk about air conditioning. And when do you need your air conditioned service? And I know it's going to hit 107 degrees tomorrow, and a lot of you are going to be moist sitting in your cars.
Yeah.
A little bit. And the thing that, if you got a fairly new car and maybe it's a year or two old, 3 years old, and the air conditioning's cold, leave it alone.
That's what I say.
Right?
If it's working, don't mess with it.
If it's working, don't mess with it.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned, John, here recently you've had a couple situations where people's cars are making cold air, but they're not getting the cold air. Why weren't they getting the cold air?
Well, yeah, they were getting cold air. They just weren't getting enough of it because cabin filters were plugged up in it.
Cabin filter,
Yeah,
okay.
Makes the car not feel comfortable, and it's something that happens over a long period of time. It doesn't happen overnight, so people don't really notice it. And they think the air conditioner's not working as well as it should. Well, you drop a thermometer in, it's blowing 40 degrees out the ducts, but there isn't enough cold air to keep the car comfortable.
So you're sitting there, you say, hey, what the heck is an air filter? Well, if you got a house and you got an air conditioned unit on your house, you know there's an air filter that you should probably change. I think on the package it says every 30 days because they want to sell them to you.
Sure.
But they probably ought to be changed at least every 90 days. What that's doing is that's taking the air in from your house and it's running it through the air conditioned unit, but it's going through the filter first, and then it's blowing it back into your house. Well, you got the same thing going on in the dashboard of your car. So it's sucking air from the inside of the car, and it's taking it through the cold coil and blowing it back out. And there's a cabin filter in there. And a cabin filter, some of these, John, we pull out, and they're kind of gross.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they get real plugged up.
We find all kinds of stuff in there.
Dogs, people that have dogs, the dog hair plugs them up something fierce. And if you got an older car that doesn't have a cabin filter, I've seen a lot of evaporators that were restricted from dog hair. Then you got to go in and actually physically clean it out to get the airflow back. So it's kind of a tough deal.
So when you go to the auto shop and you're in there, you're getting your oil change, and they say, oh, you need a cabin filter. Well, think about the last time you got one done. And if you haven't, chances are you may very well need a cabin filter. So,
yeah, and if it's restricted, it's cheap, and it makes a big difference in the way the inside of the car feels.
Yeah, for sure. And also, part of the cooling effect is the velocity of air. You ever look on your app on your phone for the weather, and it says it's going to be 95 degrees today, but it feels like 89 degrees. That's because of the air speed. The wind speed is actually creating a secondary evaporation off your skin that makes you feel cool. So that's a biggie right there, is just airflow. And then the most common, John, somebody comes in and they're complaining they're just not getting cool enough.
Yeah, it's a leak.
It's a leak.
Yeah, that's the most common failure we see. Refrigerant is hard to contain in a mobile environment, and so it tries to get away, and that's probably the most common.
Well, last week we talked about engine cooling, and I want to make sure if you're out there listening that you don't confuse the two. There's engine cooling, and that uses basically water with glycol in it, and there's a few other little things they do to it chemically, but it's a liquid, and that's what cools your engine. Now, we're talking about, when we talk about a leak, this is not in the air condition. We're not talking about a leak that you can see on the driveway, but we're talking about a leak of a vapor or a gas.
Yeah.
So you're not going to see anything down there. And also, it's a little harder to find a leak in an air-conditioned system because there's nothing to see.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you can see a little trace because within that vapor, that gas is oil. And so you'll see some oil starting to show up around maybe a fitting or around a crimp on a hose, that type of thing.
Yep.
So most common is that people come in, they're low on charge. Now, a good AC system with actually no leaks, still over the number of years, it's going to lose a little bit.
Yeah, they still they'll still outgas a little bit. You'll lose a little bit, even with the newer systems that use barrier hoses and stuff. They still deteriorate a little bit.
So if you had to guess, I mean, a new car, first year, year 1, year 2, year 3, you probably nothing.
Probably nothing. Yeah.
You might start to see it taper off.
4 or 5.
4 or 5 years.
4 or 5 years, you start to see them start to deteriorate a little bit.
So this is for you. You're out there, and, you know, this is going to be a conversation you're going to have with yourself, because yesterday on Friday, it worked okay. Okay, but Saturday, it's going to be 100 degrees today. Tomorrow's going to be 108 degrees. And you're going to be driving in your car, and you're going to go, is that thing really working? Have no idea. What is an ideal outlet temperature, John, of the air conditioner?
47 degrees is the magic number.
Got to have 47 degrees.
Yeah, you'll hear people tell you it's got to be 35 degrees. If it's 35, it's frozen.
Yeah.
They don't work frozen, okay? That car is actually broken. 47 degrees is the magic number.
Okay. Now, can people go to the auto parts store and buy a gauge that they just put in their vent?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can pick one up. Now, are those accurate?
No.
No? Okay.
No, they can be off by as much as 5 degrees,
Okay.
around that mark. So they're not particularly active or accurate. But if you keep one in your car, you'll be able to follow and see if you start to see it degrading over a period of time. Yeah. It's all relative to where you started with. So if over a period of time the temperature starts to go up, maybe there's something you need to get checked there.
Okay. So what happens? And this is the thing that people don't understand. I had a guy that this guy came in probably about a month ago. We serviced his air condition last year, and he left and he was happy with it. And he calls me a year later. He says, "Hey, is this thing under warranty? Because it's not blowing cool air."
Right.
And I said, well, take a look at it, see what's going on. Typically, air-conditioned services are not necessarily a warranty thing because it's a two-step process. So you're trying to, you'll have to, if you got a system that comes in empty, unless you can visibly see a leak or there's something that's obvious, you may not know where the leak is first time around.
Yeah.
So we're going to evacuate the system, suck it down to a vacuum, so it's like an outer space on the inside of your air-conditioned system, and then we're going to put the appropriate charge in there, the charge of Freon or that gas or vapor we're talking about, and then we're also going to add oil and a dye. Okay, that way if a leak shows up, we can check it with a black light later and go, okay, there's a leak there.
Right.
So anyway, the guy's question was this thing still under warranty? I said, I don't know. Let's take a look. If we did something wrong, absolutely, it's under warranty.
Yeah.
And you pull in the bay, guess what? This cabin filter's plugged up.
Yeah.
Just like what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So all he needed was a $20 cabin filter, and he was worried that his AC was bad.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, somebody had to tell that guy he needed a cabin filter.
Yeah.
So we've got air-conditioned service, and I see coupons in the paper for a $24 service. Is that doing anything for you, John?
I don't know. Yeah, after checking the cabin filter. Yeah, the problem is there's a little confusion over that. Hooking gauges up to cars anymore is probably not the most brilliant idea on some of the newer critical fill systems, just as a matter of course. Number one, every time you hook up those gauges and you disconnect them, you lose a little bit of refrigerant, or you affect the charge one way or another. If the guy's machine hasn't been sucked into a vacuum when he hooks it up, he may actually add a little bit of refrigerant when he hooks it up, depending on what the static pressure is. So you wind up with changes in refrigerant levels. Well, these systems that hold 0.9 of a pound, they can be off by 10% and not cool. So you really want to kind of try to avoid hooking up on the newer systems unless you absolutely have a reason to. So, but there's other things you can check. We want to check for restrictions in the condenser. Up behind the radiator and in the front there, we need good airflow across there. That's got to be clean. You can't have plastic bags stuck over that stuff. We want to make sure that the condenser fans and cooling fans work. All the ducts are in place. So there is some value in that service, but I'm not sure that just arbitrarily hooking gauges up is the best plan of action unless you've got a reason to go there.
The other thing you mentioned condenser and airflow and all that stuff. I don't know how many cars I get in where if you've got one of those cars where you pull it over the curb, and it kind of goes,
yeah,
and that's how you know you're there.
Yeah,
you have a little bit of a senior moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those air pieces underneath are very important to the airflow across the condenser and across the radiator.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you'll be in the shop and it'll be dragging on the ground, and the guy will do you a favor and just pull it off so it's not dragging.
Yeah.
It needs to be replaced.
Yes.
That needs to be fixed. Otherwise, you're not going to get the airflow that you need. And when it's blazing hot out and you're like, man, I'm sitting here, I'm moist, and, air conditioning's not working.
Yeah.
All those little things add up to a system that works effectively.
Yeah, it's not as big an issue as it used to be, but remember the old Camaros and Firebirds that used to have that 2-inch wicker bill underneath, just that little spoiler, just a little 2-inch piece of rubber. As soon as it was gone, the AC quit working in the car.
Amazing what that little thing did, for sure. So a couple things I'll mention that come up as, a service. Oftentimes can include evacuating and recharging the Freon. Leaks are an issue. Fans. There's a blower fan on the inside of the car to move air. There's a fan outside to cool the condenser. Also, things that come up are the actuator motors and blend doors, and we can talk about all that when we come back at 602-277-5827. And the other thing that comes up, John, it got hot yesterday, and it's going to be hot tomorrow. Definitely AC is a topic, but you know what? The other thing is batteries.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're out there and you're thinking it's been 2-3 years since you bought a battery, stop into a bumper-to-bumper shop and see if you can pick yourself up an Interstate battery. When we come back, we're taking phone calls at 602-277-5827. You listen to Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, Kevin Rowe from I-17 Collision in Phoenix. If the bad news is you've had an accident, the good news is that with one easy click on bumpertobumperradio.com, you have the best collision, body, and paint shops to help you get back on the road quickly, safely, and with a repair you can trust.
Dave Lindgren here from First Class Auto Body in Scottsdale. Don't be fooled. Some insurance companies try to convince you that you must use their approved shops for your repairs. Not true. Arizona law allows you to choose the facility that's right for you.
And I'm Leo Petrozello from Campus Body Salon in Tempe. Having an accident is stressful enough. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Appearance is important, but it's critical that structural integrity and safety are top priority.
3 convenient locations and one united team. With almost 120 years of experience and expertise between us, we are solely focused on taking care of you while working with your insurance company. The Collision Team at bumpertobumperradio.com.
The Valley's only all-news morning show is on Arizona's news station.
With traffic and weather every 6 minutes.
And the latest breaking news on your way to work. Start your day with Arizona's morning news.
Weekdays 5 to 9 on Arizona's news station. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and streaming live on the KTAR News app.
Whether you're a lifelong dirt road driving, tackle box toting weekend warrior or an outdoor lifestyle rookie, from the desert to the mountains of our great state, Mike Russell has the outdoors in Arizona covered. This afternoon at 1 with Get Outdoors. Only on KTAR News 92.3 FM and streaming live on the KTAR News app.
Well, welcome back to Bumper to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Matt Allen from Virginia Auto Service is off, so I brought John Riggle, the lead diagnostician and our quality control guy at Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair. He's here to help you with your car. And we talked about air conditioning in the first segment because it only just seems appropriate because it's going to be 108 degrees tomorrow. A little bit of swamp factor is going to go up, so we want to make sure your air conditioning is working good. But anything related to your car, don't hesitate. It doesn't have to be air conditioned. If you want to talk about air conditioning, we love to talk about it. Give us a call at 602-277-5827, 602-277-KTAR. And, John, I'm going to go with Bonnie. It looks like she's got a 2007 Nissan Murano. How can we help you, Bonnie? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. I had a blowout on the freeway, so I had my tire changed, and the rep it was Discount Tire, and they had told me that my tires had been upgraded, and because they couldn't give me the same tire, it would be similar, but it'd be upgraded one. And he said if I don't, because he wanted to sell me all 4, and I said I couldn't see doing that because there's nothing wrong with the other ones. So I had him just do the one. that blew out, and he says that he just needed to let me know that my drivetrain might go bad if I just change one, and I just needed to know if that's true.
Hey, Bonnie, is your Murano two-wheel drive or is it all-wheel drive?
All-wheel.
Okay, all-wheel drive. All right. Well, I think that the gentleman is actually right.
Yeah.
On the modern all-wheel drive car, if you got 4 brand new tires and you pop one within a week or two or something like that, yeah, you can buy just one.
Yeah.
But if you got tires that are half worn and you lose one of them and you get one new one, that is going to cause problems, absolutely. And it's not just a little bit of money that's going to cost you. It's going to cost you a lot of money not to address those tires.
It depends on the system. There's some all-wheel drive systems that will tolerate some difference in tire circumference, but most of them will not, and it can do some serious damage if it's a system that doesn't tolerate the tire size differences.
Traditionally, we always bought tires in a pair.
Yeah.
It's kind of like buying shoes. You wouldn't buy one new shoe. You'd buy a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
Well, traditionally, 2 tires made sense. With the all-wheel drive, we got to think, hey, we're going to buy 4 tires at a time.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm big on rotation. Tire rotation on all-wheel drive is important. Some of them you can't because they actually run different tires front to rear.
Tires, yeah.
But, so there's some truth to that. So if you have any more questions or you're looking for a shop, bumpertobumperradio.com. But I'm glad you asked because at a transmission shop, we get people with blown-up transfer cases. And they come in and you look at the tires, and sure enough, they got.
We have a special gauge for measuring the circumference. It's called a stagger gauge, and we'll go around the car and check. Anytime we've got a transfer case that's failed, that's one of the checks that I do just to make sure that we didn't run into an issue with tires tearing it up.
And I think what that guy was saying is the tire we had to put on was very different from the other one, so we got to address that.
Yeah, I think
for
that's what
sure.
he was trying to sell.
And you can have, if I got a Nike on one foot and I've got a Skechers on the other foot, they're going to feel very different. Okay, so same thing with the tires too. Is you can have 2 tires that are exactly the same size, but when you put that tool on there, a stagger gauge, they measure completely different.
Yep.
So anyway, thanks for the call, 602-277-5827. We are going to go with Linda. She's got a 2013 Nissan Altima, and it sounds like her dashboard's not working. How can we help you, Linda? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
I listen to you every week, so I have a call today.
All right.
Question. All right. Yes, I'm driving home about 6 o'clock yesterday, and I had my sunglasses on. I'm like, gee, why is where the speedometer, the part where the speedometer is and stuff, it's like, why is it so dark? Took off my sunglasses. Nothing. There's that little button for brighter, minus or plus to make it brighter. It did nothing. And also I noticed that the speedometer doesn't even move. It's stuck on 0, and when I turn on the turn signal, I could not hear anything or see anything on that part of the dashboard. And then I pulled over in a parking lot and turned my lights on and stuff. And on the outside, the lights go on, the turn signal you can see going on and off. So that works. And the rest of my dashboard where my radio is and the air conditioning lights, those are working. So it's just that one section. And oh my gosh.
Any ideas, John?
Sounds like it's broken.
Yeah.
No. That's odds are it's a power supply to the instrument cluster, or the instrument cluster itself has failed. Did it? Was it hot in the afternoon when you noticed this?
No, it was around 6, and it had been working all the way down to shopping, and stuff. And now I'm on my way home, and I'm like, what the heck, Why did I not see?
Yeah, that's something somebody needs to check out with a scan tool and see if they can communicate with the instrument cluster and see if we got a power supply problem, fuse, ignition switch, or something like that.
Yeah, for sure. And one of the things people don't realize, there's a lot of modules in the car, and you say, instrument cluster, and it's a module, it's a brain of itself.
Yeah.
So it's got a computer in it, just like the engine control module has got a computer in it. There's an ABS module that's got a computer in it. All those things talk, but you're saying, hey, possibility. When you turn the key or the ignition switch, we send power to a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
So for whatever reason, we could have a power supply problem to the instrument cluster, something along those lines. But somebody's be able to, you good technicians will be able to get in there and see what's missing.
That's a 2013, probably doesn't even have a real ignition switch anymore. It's just a switch that tells one of the computers to start the car or power everything up. And then we use the intelligent power distribution module, the fuse panel that now has a computer in it to power all these things up. So there's a lot of places where you could have issues that cause that symptom.
For sure. Thanks thanks for the call, Linda. Good luck with that. If you're looking for a shop, you can find them at bumpertobumperradio.com. There's a list of great shops there that we would prescribe to and gladly send you down there. We're going to sneak in Leonard with a 2000 Toyota Corolla. Go ahead, Leonard. You are on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Hey, that's weird about that tire size. You'd never think a tire would blow up your transmission.
I know.
Hey, what I'm calling about, I just got a 2000 Toyota Corolla, and I was sitting in the parking lot talking on the phone, that's a couple of weeks ago, thinking, wow, this ain't bad. This AC's blowing ice cold. Next thing I hear a psst, and it's blowing hot as heck. I take it in. The guy says, well, I've got a couple of issues. One is I overpressured the compressors sitting in the parking lot because whoever replaced the radiator didn't put the foam back between the radiator and the condenser.
Yep, small details.
So the compressor, yeah. But I can't, is that something then that can be fixed, or do I need to put in a new compressor, and where do I start with like the foam to seal that between the radiator and the condenser?
Yeah, you bet. Well, when you started talking, I was mouthing to John, condenser fan.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting in a parking lot, there's zero airflow from the vehicle moving down the road.
Yep.
When you're sitting at a stop like that, you got to have a good condenser fan.
Right.
So there's a couple electric fans up there that pull air through the radiator. And then, John, those are the small details, a piece of foam, huh?
Yeah, well, I know the piece of foam he's talking about. We used to call it 5-degree foam. It's a piece of foam that went between the condenser and the radiator to make the airflow go through there. That missing in and of itself isn't enough to drive the head pressure high enough to cause a blow-off on the system.
Right, okay. So
there's something going on with the fans.
Something going on there.
Yep.
Now, he mentioned compressor replacement, and hopefully you don't need to buy a compressor because that sounds expensive. But when people are, sometimes you may find yourself when you do need to get your AC system redone. And when it comes to air-conditioned stuff, I'm telling you what, if I can get it done wrong for $9 but done right for $11, pay the $11. There's some really garbage air-conditioned parts out there.
Yeah.
You can save $50 on an AC condenser. You know how they do it? They just cut down on the amount of channels in that condenser, and it's not that effective. So if you are considering an AC repair and you're going to be dropping some bucks, because you can, do it right. Don't cut corners, because if you don't have money to spend it the first time, you ain't going to have money to spend it the second time.
Yep.
So anyhow, when we come back, we're taking your phone calls at 602-277-5827. You listen to Bumper Radio.
There is nothing more important than family. Hi, Kurt Rock here for Kurt's Auto Repair. I brought my nephew and general manager, Jeff Rock, to help spread the word.
Thanks, Pops. Yep, the more things change, the more they stay the same at Kurt's. Family owned and operated, our ASE Master Techs and family ethics have earned us a perfect Better Business Bureau record for over 30 years. Just east of I-17 at 22nd Avenue in Bell, or online at mycarhurts.com.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic, if your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
Hi, I'm Dave Riccio, owner of Tri-City Transmission. Well, you may have come to know us for being a transmission expert. What you may not know is that our customers regularly ask us why we don't perform repairs to the rest of the vehicle. You guys are so great. Why work on just the transmission? Well, the requests became hard to ignore, and 3 years ago, we began to build an infrastructure to perform general automotive repair. We weren't going to do general repair if we couldn't be great at it. So in 2013, we began the soft opening of Tri-City Auto Repair on Smith Road. We brought on ASE Master Technicians to work side by side with our Master Transmission Technicians. The combination of the best in both of these trades has created a synergy that allows us not only to fix your transmission, but to service and repair your whole car, and to do it well. Let's face it, the modern car has become so integrated. We believe all of our expert knowledge puts us ahead of the curve. Find us at TricityTransmission.com or TempeAutoRepairShop.com. That's TempeAutoRepairShop.com.
It sounds like they've just had the accurate automotive experience. We're family-owned and operated and have served the Mesa, Tempe, Gilbert communities for over 22 years. We focus on building long-lasting relationships and, listening to you so that we can understand, meet, and exceed your expectations. One location, 14 bays, 88 years of automotive expertise, and a passionate commitment to customer service and excellence. My name is Lee Weatherby, and I approve this message because it's true. We love what we do, and we want to do it for you. Accurate Automotive, the home of friends serving friends.
Arizona's news station. KTAR. On air, 92.3 FM. Online at KTAR.com. And streaming live on the KTAR News app. Your breaking news and traffic now.
KTAR News Time, 11:30. I'm Mark Carlson. Some British doctors and legislators are reacting angrily to President Donald Trump's comments comparing a London hospital to a war zone because of knife crime. Dr. Martin Griffiths is a surgeon at the Royal London Hospital. He tweeted Saturday he would be happy to invite Mr. Trump to visit his hospital and meet with London's mayor and police chief to learn how the city has reduced violent crime. Dr. Kareem Brohai, another Royal London surgeon, tweeted to suggest guns are part of the solution is ridiculous. At the National Rifle Association gathering Friday in Dallas, Trump said Britain has tough gun laws, but that one London hospital has blood all over the floors because of knife wounds. Trump plans to visit Britain in July. Russian demonstrators are holding protests across the country against Monday's inauguration of Vladimir Putin for a fourth term as president. Today's protests are organized by Putin's most vocal opponent, anti-corruption campaigner Alexei Navalny. Hundreds of demonstrators are out in the streets chanting, "He is not our czar." A crowd estimated at more than 1,000 had earlier begun marching. There's no immediate tally of the number of arrests. Traffic and weather now. Here's Mike Daniels in the Valley Chevy Dealers Traffic Center.
Well, thanks, Mark. In Glendale, crash off to the side, Loop 101 westbound at 51st Avenue. In Tempe, got some debris in the roadway to watch out for. Loop 101 northbound at Broadway. Also in Tempe, a crash at Priest and University Drive. This report brought to you by Carol Royce Real Estate Team. Need to sell your home fast? Carol Royce with Keller Williams Realty East Valley will make you a guaranteed cash offer on your home within 24 hours. Call Carol now at 480-776-5231 and get packing. I'm Mike Daniels, KTAR News.
KTAR weather for the Valley. Today, sunny skies with a temperature of 102 degrees. Tonight, clear skies and a low of 76. An excessive heat warning is forecast for tomorrow. It's 96 degrees currently in Sun City. Weather brought to you by Howard Air. Weather replace or repair, call Howard Air. I'm Mark Carlson on Arizona's news station, KTAR News.
Trust. It's hard to earn and sometimes even harder to find. If you live or work in downtown Phoenix, Matt Allen's Virginia Auto Service is celebrating over 20 years of award-winning service at the corner of 7th Street and Virginia. Recognized as one of the best service shops in the country, their customers have come to trust Virginia Auto Service for its A+ rating by the BBB, 2-year 24,000-mile warranties, and free transportation to and from your home or office. 20+ years of earning your trust. Virginia Auto Service. They're serious about service.
The best summer golf pass in the Valley is now on sale. Get 6 rounds of golf at either the Arizona Biltmore Golf Club or the Wigwam for just $144. That's 5 courses, 6 rounds at one low price. The summer pass is loaded with cool perks. Discounts on room nights and food and beverage at the Wigwam Resort, 2-for-1 drink coupons, greens fee discounts for friends, and discounts on golf rounds this fall. Summer pass good May 15th through September 14th, so don't delay. Get your 2018 summer pass at the Arizona Biltmore or the Wigwam Golf Shops today.
Having an accident is stressful. Dealing with the repair process shouldn't be. Hi, Leo Petrozella for Campus Body Salon. We've taken the stress out of collision repair since 1973, and here's a couple of tips to de-stress your repair. Make your own choice. Some insurance companies try to convince you that you must use their approved shop for your repair. Not true. Arizona state law allows you to choose the facility that's right for you. Beware of the cheapest estimate. Typically, it's the one from the insurance company cutting corners to trim costs or focusing on appearance only. At Campus Body Salon, appearance is important, but structural integrity and safety are even more critical. Campus Body Salon, independent, family-owned and operated, and bumper-to-bumper radio approved. Check out our Cash for Your Crash program where we pay you 10% off of your repair up to $1,000. Campus Body Salon, the best care in collision repair.
Few cities are as car-centric as Phoenix, and this is the show that'll help you to better understand that machine you depend on to get around the valley. It's Bumper to Bumper Radio. KTAR News on 92.3 FM and the KTAR app for Android and iPhone.
Well, welcome back to Bumper Radio. I am Dave Riccio. Matt Allen from Virginia Auto Service is off today. He's in Dallas, Texas at a training.
Wow.
And hopefully he learned something he can tell me.
There you go.
For sure. So anyhow, I've got John Riggle from Tri-City Transmission and Auto Repair in here to help you with your car, and with some questions about air condition, and really questions, anything you want to talk about. 602-277-5827. Thought I'd give you a mention of what is Bumper to Bumper Radio. Bumper to Bumper Radio is a show helped to have realistic expectations in the auto repair business, because sometimes people don't know what they can expect, and that creates a lot of stress and a lot of anxiety. And we want to put you in the know. You're not going to necessarily know how to fix your car from listening to this show, but you're going to know what sounds normal. You're going to know how to handle a situation, how to ask questions, how to take that component of stress out of your life. Knowing something about your car, being proactive about your car, not reactive. Some cars never break down and never hit the side of the road because proactive maintenance and good maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that happens with Bumper to Bumper Radio is that it costs money to put a show on the air. So we've got a bunch of shops that support us. These are people that we believe in that do auto repair right, people that I could carte blanche refer you down to. You find those shops at bumpertobumperradio.com, and the one I'm thinking of today is Good Works Auto Repair. They're right there at Broadway in the 101. They do an awful lot of foreign domestic, and they have a little bit of a specialty for the hybrid thing. And go see Glenn and Rayanne. They're both husband and wife working in the business. They work hard. They run a good business. So if you've got a good shop, by all means, stick with them. You know, anyone who does a good job in the auto repair business, that's great. That's my brethren.
Yeah.
But if you don't have somebody and you're bouncing shop to shop and you need to find somebody and you're in Tempe, go to Good Works Auto Repair. Go say hi to Glenn and Rayanne and see if you can make yourself a home. And that's a big deal, is finding a consistent spot to take your car. You wouldn't take your kid to a different pediatrician every other visit.
No.
You would want to stick with someone who kind of knows what's going on, and someone who's going to recommend what you need, someone who's not going to sell it to you if they wouldn't sell it to their mother.
Yep.
That's the kind of shop you're looking for sure. So anyhow, we're taking phone calls at 602-277-5827. John, I'm going to go with, and his name's John also, John with a 2016 Titan XD diesel. Hey, John, I can tell you, you're on Bumper to Bumper Radio. I don't know much about this truck, so tell us about it.
Okay, actually, it's a very good for towing. We went up to Sholo through the Salt River Canyon, pulling 7,000-pound trailer. It works like a dream. The wind doesn't bother it. It goes uphill and downhill, and it works perfect, except for I think I have a transmission question.
Okay, yeah. Let me go find you somebody who knows something about that. All right, I got him. I'm here.
The design of the truck, when you're going downhill, pulling a load, you're doing 60, you hit the brakes, slow down to 55, the transmission will automatically downshift and find the gear to try to hold 55, which is great. But I'm driving flat on the surface street a couple days ago, and it's got the econo mode screen where it can tell you how many miles per gallon you get. And when you let off the accelerator, the bar didn't go up. It actually went dead down, and you could feel the truck slowing down as if it automatically downshifted into another gear. It went like that, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. I turned it off. Next time I got in it, it didn't do it. But then a day later, it did the same thing. So I don't know if that's transmission issue or computer sensing issue.
So you're saying you're cruising along. Give me an idea on speed. Are you going 45 miles an hour?
I'm going 40 miles an hour. I was heading west on Glendale. Said I was doing 15.8 miles a gallon. That's great. I stopped, turned around, got into this mode, and it was reading 8.5 to 9 miles a gallon, and when you let off the accelerator, it didn't coast. It started slowing down a lot. So you had to constantly give it gas instead of the coast mode. And, all I can see is drive. I can't see what sub-gear it's in.
How many miles are on that thing?
Well, it's 10,000.
10,000 miles. John, anything come to your mind as far as some sort of regeneration mode or?
No, that's kind of an unusual complaint. I don't know if that's a strategy that got messed up at some point, or with 10,000 miles on it, it's kind of unusual to see hear that kind of complaint unless there's a strategy issue that's going on there. Something strange there.
Well, here's the one thing. Here's the one thing about new cars, John, is that they're new. It's something different. After they release a new model, and this is brand new, really, to the industry, the dealership's going to hear all these complaints of things that are just different to people. So there may be something different, and they're hearing it on a regular basis. They go, oh, yeah, that's just that. They're going to know. Give them a phone call, tell them what you're feeling, and they're going to have a better explanation. I haven't even driven one of these things, but, so much anymore is controlled by the computer. The computer tells the truck how and when to operate.
Yeah, and you've got a whole dynamics control system on that car. You're integrated with brakes and everything else. You could have an accelerometer doing something. I mean, there's a lot of different things there. You could have an issue in the ABS. A little concerned that no warning lights have come on, but there may be DTC stored in some of the other issues or other systems that may relate to that. It may not necessarily be a transmission problem in and of itself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so call up the dealer, get that thing in there, let them get that thing checked out, and appreciate the phone call, 602-277-5827. Let's see here. We are going to go with Jamie, 2012 Cadillac SRX. Radiator cracked. Man, I think we were talking about radiators cracking last week. How can we help you, Jamie? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, Dave. It's actually kind of a two-part. It's a steering reservoir that's cracked and cracked radiator. And so our question is, how does that happen? What questions should we be asking? We're just trying to figure out, does it make sense to fix it, or do we just get out of the car at this point?
How many miles are on the car?
About 80, but this is a long laundry list of things that need to be done, and these appear to be the priciest.
Do you like the car?
We love the car.
Okay, well, yeah. then you just answer the question. And this is the thing, is that, you got a vehicle with 80,000 miles. There's kind of a window of time where cars will ask you for repairs.
Yeah.
That 80,000 to 120,000 miles there, you're gonna do some repairs to the car. And, I see radiators crack a lot of times, John, because they were left low. Yeah. For just a little bit of time, and there's plastic tanks on them anymore. And when they're left low, there's steam at the top of the radiator, and that's taking effect on the plastic, on that plastic tank. And I think they call it composite because it sounds better.
Right.
It's plastic.
It's plastic. Yeah.
But and so yeah, if you got a car, you like it, what I see people do, though, and I go through this conversation. Let's just say your car is going to ask you for $2,000. All right, you dropped $60,000 on the car, or maybe it was $40,000 on the car when you bought it, and it asks you for $2,000. Well, in relation to the value of the car, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay, and you can take a $2,000 problem and you go fix it with $60,000 and go get you another one. So that math doesn't. If you like the car, there's no reason not to do it. There becomes a time, I see cars where I tell people, don't put any more money in this car. Just, put it out to pasture. Yeah. It's time for something new. Yeah. But just based off your reaction, I don't think you're there. And I have this conversation with a lot of people, believe me. So anyhow, thanks for the call, Jamie. We're going to go with Pete. He's got a 2007 Honda Accord. How can we help you, Pete? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Good morning, Dave. I've got a problem. It's the 2007 Honda Accord. The AC just reeks, and so I changed the in-cabin air filter. In fact, I just bought this car. It's been maintained, but I turn the AC on or I let it run a little while, and it just reeks. I thought I'd call you and see what you have to say.
Right. All right, Riccio air condition. I had a Honda Element. It was a 2010 Element, and that thing always had. I mean, since the day I bought the car, it had stinky air condition.
Right. Yeah.
Thoughts that come to your mind, John?
No. I'm not sure what reek is. There's different odors that you can get out of air conditioners. I mean, I've had systems with leaks in them. I can actually smell the 134 refrigerant oil combination. And sometimes when we've got leaks, they make an odor that I can pick up on that most people don't get. But, I don't know if it's a musty odor or something like that. Really, the only thing you can do with them is pull the evaporator out and thoroughly clean the evaporator. That's the only way to there's lots of stuff out there. There's lots of sprays and stuff that people try to use, and it never seems to work. I've gone through all of those.
Yeah, it's been really a problem because there's a lot of moisture created. From the condensation on the evaporative core. Yeah. You take that, and that's another reason why the cabin filter was nice, because it prevented crap from getting on the core. But you got all that dirt and musty.
Yeah, and if this is a car that a smoker owned, I mean, that can be just virtually impossible to completely get rid of the odor there without just dismantling the thing and really cleaning it.
And I remember products you would just blow foam into all the ductwork and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but
it never did anything. Yeah, we had all that stuff. You'd blow foam in and blow it through the fins and stuff, and it never worked. The only fixes I've ever seen that really worked were you took them out and actually cleaned them in bleach, and then you clear coated them with a clear coat sealer on the evaporator core itself that kind of resisted that buildup of mold and stuff. So.
Well, good luck with that, Pete. Maybe just get used to it, Sometimes, it's like I can't smell my own stink. It's because I know.
You know what some people do? Q-tip with baby oil on it and drop it down one of the center ducts. That's as effective as
there
anything.
Is some trick. Some people throw dryer sheets, up underneath the dashboard where the return air, pulls in air. There's a couple things you can do to kind of
just
cut some of the edge off of that thing. Well, John, I'm just going to come up with a last-minute fact or fiction. You can make a good vehicle out of a flood-damaged car.
Fiction.
Fact or fiction?
Fiction. Yeah,
fiction.
Don't go there. Yeah.
We had a car, and it's just a warning out there. We had a car towed to our shop this week. It was a Texas car. It had been
in
flooded.
A flood. The guy got a smoking deal on it at a auction. Yeah.
I think he paid. What'd you say? He thought he paid
probably $5,000. Yeah, that's what they were going for. Yeah.
The insurance company. This car only had 15 miles on it.
Yeah.
They totaled it because they knew they could never fix it and they could never make it right. So, and that was probably a $35,000 hit. What kind of car? It was a Honda.
A little Honda Accord. Yeah, like a brand new one. But here's the thing about insurance companies. Insurance companies aren't stupid. Insurance companies make a lot of money by making really good decisions. And buying flood cars is not a good decision.
Not a good decision. Yeah. So you may kind of be drooling over it, saying, "Hey, I can buy this car with a salvage title, or it was in a flood, and I get a really great deal on it." The thing about a car like that is you will never make it reliable. It would always be finicky. It will always do weird stuff.
Well, and there's some real liability issues to it. Nobody wants to work on them because of the liability issues. If you have a car that's saltwater damage, and you try to resurrect that thing, you need to go through and replace all the airbags. Well, all the airbags cost more than the car is worth. If you buy them individually and install them, that process turns the car into having no value. But you, as a repairer, I don't want the liability of making this car run for you and having a year down the road having the car get in an accident and the airbag's not working. I was the last guy to work on the car. So nobody will touch these cars. So really not a good idea.
Yeah, the other thing, too, if you're driving down the 202 and you see those big old State Farm buildings, it's not because they don't have their math figured out. So
exactly.
Anyhow, we come back. We've got Todd, Ken, Steve, and Bonnie. You listen to Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's.
That's our closing line, Pops.
I know, Jeff. Just reinforcing that we're full-service auto repair.
At Kurt's Auto Repair, we do it all, including diesel. We have the passion, training, equipment, and expertise for diesel. Our techs are ASE certified for diesel and advanced diesel diagnostics. Toy hauling, horse trailering, off-roading, or work trucking, we've got you covered.
Gas or diesel, foreign or domestic. If your car hurts, take it to Kurt's. Check us out at mycarhurts.com.
Hi, I'm Kurt Morgan, owner of Shadow Mountain Auto Service in Phoenix. I'm also a college automotive instructor, and I've been a technician for over 30 years. In that time, I've seen all kinds of games and gimmicks in the auto repair business, the worst of which seems to be associated with transmissions. I think it's because, to most, including technicians, the inside of a transmission is a mystery. So when one of our valued customers has a transmission problem, we send them straight to Tri-City Transmission. No games, no gimmicks. That's Tri-City Transmission.
Ouch! Being out of tune is no fun, and maybe even a little painful. Hi, this is Lee Weatherby, owner of Accurate Automotive in Mesa. At Accurate, we are a family-owned and operated one-stop automotive repair shop that specializes in building long-term relationships that are in tune with your needs, not ours. We've been recognized nationally as one of the top shops in the country, but for over 20 years, our priority has stayed focused on providing quality automotive service and repair at a fair price. I invite you to come in and see the difference an in-tune relationship can make for you and your car. With our free courtesy inspection, a $49 value, we feel it is well worth our investment in you because we believe good long-term relationships start early with your first walk through our doors. Accurate Automotive, home of friends serving friends, just off Broadway and Robson in Mesa since 1992. For more information, check us out online at accurateautomotiveaz.com today.
It's definitely going to be hot. I didn't get to ride my bike this morning like I normally did. My dad was in town, Senior Riccio, and, so I went to breakfast with my dad, which was great. But that means I got to ride my bicycle. I'm going to go to my son's baseball game and then run my bicycle at 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
There's a great plan.
My wife says I'm crazy.
Yeah.
But I'm doing it anyway because I got a brand new, beautiful bike that I'm staring out the window.
Does it have air conditioning?
It doesn't.
No,
It's got the 165. 6.5. One bike, 6.5 miles an hour.
6.5 miles an hour. There you go.
Exactly. So anyhow, well, welcome back. We got some callers here that we got to get to. We're going to go with Amy. She's got a 2008 Chevy Equinox. How can we help you, Amy? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, hi. So I just bought this vehicle over the winter, so I'm just starting to use the air conditioning, and it will blow just like at a normal, but speed, but not very cold, and then it'll blow really hard and get really cold, and then it'll slow down on how hard it's blowing and get warm again. And it seems to have to do with how I'm driving the vehicle, if I'm braking or if I'm speeding up or slowing down, seems to change how hard the air conditioner blows. I don't know if it just needs to be charged.
Yeah,
or something wrong with it.
I'm hearing two different things because we think of, at the service counter when people come in, we say, is it an airflow issue? Do you feel the air blowing on you? Are you saying that volume of air changes? So it's blowing at it's blowing at 10 miles an hour, but maybe when you rev up the car, it's blowing at 20 miles an hour kind of thing?
Yes.
And then, so that's one side of it, and then the other side of it is the coolness of the air. Does that air feel like it's 50-degree air or 70-degree air?
Yeah.
When it's blowing really hard, it feels really cold. And when it's not blowing so hard, it's almost warm.
Okay. So I don't know, John. I don't know if we got an airflow issue because, again, just the perception of cool is the harder the air is moving.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions come to your mind that help you get her?
No, but I would want to start at the beginning, and the first thing I'd want to check is the charging system on the car.
Right. Yes.
Make sure we've got a good battery and a good charging system so we don't actually have blower speed fluctuations or voltage changes that are causing the blend doors or the system to do something it shouldn't be. So I would want to start at the very beginning with that particular one. That's kind of an unusual complaint.
Yeah, it's unusual because it's really both sides of it. But when I start to think of the blower speed changing, I'm thinking about the electrical system.
I am too. Yeah.
So Amy, you're going to need to get in and get an air conditioned service. But when you're doing a thorough air conditioned service, you're going to look at that battery. You're going to look at the alternator. You're going to look at all those things to make sure we got everything we need to do. The whole system is electrical. So inside the dashboard, there's doors and motors and all that stuff. And if we don't have enough juice, we could be having an issue with all that stuff. So there's something going on there, and something will be explained once I get in there and start checking it. So thanks for the call. We're going to go with Ken. He's got a 1996, looks like a Dodge Ram 1500. How can we help you, Ken? You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Hi. Got a friend who's got a pickup. About a week ago, she went to drive it, and it would go in reverse, and she put it in drive, took off, but it wouldn't shift through the shifting pattern.
Okay, so we had, is it consistently no reverse?
Yeah, I went over there and tried it myself. It won't even move.
Do you know what engine is in that?
Oh, not right off the top of my head.
Okay. And the reason I'm asking is I'm trying to determine what transmission's in it. 96 Ram. If it's got a 318 or a 360, it's going to be a 47 RE. Yeah. And if you're
by looking at the engine, it looks like a 318.
Okay. Well, yeah, reverse on a 318 is completely mechanical. So when we're diagnosing a transmission, we're trying to determine, is it a transmission problem or is it a transmission control problem? And so in this case, because reverse is very manual, you move that lever on the steering wheel, That's going to move a cable. That's going to move a valve inside the transmission, and we're not relying on electricity or solenoids or anything like that. So on that car, if it is in fact a 318 or a 360 and it is a 47 RE and you got no reverse, you have a transmission problem where the transmission is going to have to come out and be repaired. So that's something, someone will still need to diagnose it, make sure everything else is going good, and whether they actually go in and targeted repair that transmission or completely redo it, that's what they're going to have to determine for sure. So we're going to sneak in one more phone call. We're going to go with Todd, 2016 Jeep Patriot. Go ahead, Todd. You're on Bumper to Bumper Radio.
Yeah, actually, my call is kind of a recommendation. I'm looking into buying a Jeep Patriot, but I've also looked at like the 2012 Jeep Liberties. I want a small SUV that's not expensive. Do you guys recommend those, or would you recommend a different one?
When it comes to so much of that stuff, it's really a matter of personal preference.
Yeah.
Really what you need to do is ask people, do I look good in this car? Do I look good in that car? Because it's really all about how you look. You want to make sure you're going to be looking good, for sure. But I don't necessarily have a preference. One of my big things, John, is I'm just not a first-year model guy.
Yeah.
The guy called earlier. He bought the 2016 Nissan with the diesel in it. I'm like, that sounds like a really cool truck, but I'd rather you buy it first. And if you tell me it's good after 3-4 years, then I think I'll buy one of those.
Yeah.
So you do your homework. I mean, there's some tools out there as far as Consumer Reports, this, that, and the other. We had the phone call earlier. The lady that with an all-wheel drive. If you can buy an all-wheel drive, it's more expensive to buy tires because you got to buy them 4 at a time. So there's some things that you got to consider. You say,
and we live in Phoenix. Do you need all-wheel drive?
I know.
So unless you have a use for it, boy, I would steer away from that.
I got my all-wheel drive Honda Element. I thought, it's cool. I got this Honda Element. It's all-wheel drive, and you know what? I didn't need it. All I lost was 2 miles per gallon.
Yeah.
Then I bought a Nissan Xterra and I bought a 2-wheel drive, and sometimes I pull up next to a 4-wheel drive Xterra and I got a little bit of envy.
Yeah, there you go.
But the reality is,
it's
a ton of drivetrain you're dragging down the road. Transfer case, extra axles. It's more expensive to buy tires.
Like you say, you got to buy tires, man. It's a whole set on some of them.
So anyhow, we're glad you can join us. Thanks, Adrian, for running the dials. If you're looking for a good, honest, competent shop because you don't have one, if you got one, by all means, stick with them. Go there. It's hard to find a good guy, for sure. But if you're looking for one, you can go to bumpertobumperradio.com. While you're there, there's a Facebook link. Be sure to like Matt and I on Facebook. We're always looking for friends. Every now and then you'll see us send stuff out on Facebook, information, that kind of thing. And, it's going to be hot. Air conditioning's going to come up. Like I say, if it's working good, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't go pay for a service if you don't need it. And the good indicator is cold air is coming out of the vents.
Yep.
So remember never to text and drive. And from all the shops at Bumper to Bumper Radio, have a safe weekend.